Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you guys these four figures. One I already showed, well actually two I already showed. The Spartan and the blue Spartan right there, and then I guess the video is mainly for the Jega. It's Jega or Jega, I'm not sure. And then the other one is the Brute Chieftain. And these two are the main characters I'm going to show you guys, and then the other two I just want to talk a little bit about it. So let's start off with this guy first. So let's get a good look at him first. Paint job on this figure is not the greatest, especially the head. Actually the head sculpt it's kind of soft. You kind of see it's a little bit soft, and then the mandibles are kind of weird actually. And the rest of him looks kind of neat. See, he does have a robot arm, and one thing you'll notice is that the whatever that thing is around his forearm is gone. I'm not sure whether that's an energy blade or is that a shield or some sort, but it's gone. I took it off because I didn't like it at all on him, so I'll show you what I did to it afterwards. But here's the figure and the arm, and he has battle damage on one side. I guess that's why he has a robot arm. And then he has an energy sword right there. And then this figure comes in a 2-pack with the blue Spartan, which is right here. And the Spartan itself, I made some modification, which I'll show later on. And then as for the Chieftain, here it is. It's gold color. It's not a reflective gold or anything. It's just gold painted. And then he comes with the gravity hammer. And this one's also a 2-pack. Came packaged with the Master Chief, the battle damage Master Chief. And you can see on the helmet there on the top, it has a little black on it. And then the chest also has some black, and then also on one of the thigh pieces has a little black on the side there. So there's the Chieftain, and the helmet is removable. And here's the backside. I always worry when figures has these chicken legs, but this one is actually pretty good. They are somewhat ratcheting joints, so it does keep its shape quite nicely. And then here's the Chieftain from the back. Alright, so here is the figure, and head is on a ball joint, but it is somewhat limited as far as range of motion. It can go sideways a little bit, up and down a little bit, not a whole lot. It's like everything just a neat little bit, and that's it. But it is on a ball joint, and then shoulders on ball hinge joints, so it could go all the way up. Then there is no bicep swivel for this figure, and there's a hinge joint here around the elbow, and then a hinge joint around the wrist. And in order to take that blade or shield thing off, you need to pop the hand off. It is just two little nubs that's attached to it. So if you pull it, you gotta be a little bit careful. You don't want to snap those two little pins there. And then once you pull that off, then you can slide that thing completely off. And then on this arm, same thing, same articulation, exactly the same. There's a hinge joint right there, but it does have a little rotation there. And then shoulders are hindered by the shoulder armor, so it is somewhat limited. And this arm has the energy sword. And then as for the body itself, chest, there is a ball joint there, so it can do a little bit of rotation, not a whole lot. And then there's also another joint around the waist, so you kind of rotate it a little bit. And then as for the hips, they're on ball joint. And then thigh swivel, and then there's a knee joint right here, and you can kind of hear it. It's a ratcheting joint. And then same with this one, also a little ratcheting joint. and then ankles. It's somewhat limited, so a little bit of pivot left and right, not a whole lot. And as for the Chieftain, same thing. Head is on the ball joint, good range, and then shoulders, ball hinge joint, but it is quite limited because of the armor that he has on. So shoulders, that's as far as it'll go. And then hinge elbows, and then hinge wrists. Can barely move it, it's so tight, but it does hinge. And as for the waist, you could give a little rotation left and right, that's it. There's no front or back, side to side movement, just a little rotation. And then ball jointed hips, and then thigh cut joint, double jointed knees, could get you about 90 degrees, and then hinge ankle with a little pivot left and right, very tiny. So this guy's kind of cool. I also have the whatchamacallit, that red brute coming in, but it's not here yet, so I can't review that guy along with this guy, but looks kind of cool. But it is somewhat limited as far as range of motion. I mean, all these 3.75 inch figure set, it's kind of limited as far as range of motion unless you do some modification to it. I mean, it's, for the most part, it's good. I mean, he could do some poses, but especially this guy, is because he's so beefy, I guess it kind of limits what he can and can't do. And can he even hold a hammer with two hands together? It's gonna be a little challenging. I guess he could, right there. So that's nice. And then you could crouch a little bit, and that's about it. And I guess you could do some sort of a running pose if you so choose to, chasing someone with the hammer. And then as for the this guy, the elite, I don't know, as far as the torso, there's not a whole lot to play with because it is quite hindered, so not a whole lot of movement. The arms, they're okay. I wish they added a bicep swivel there. That would have been nice on both arms. If they added a bicep swivel, I think that would have been a little bit better. And then the legs does have the thigh swivel, but not a whole lot you could do because the head, it doesn't tilt up that well either. So you are somewhat limited as far as the poses you could give him. You can't have him go like this and looking up either. So he's somewhat limited. Actually, a lot more. Yeah, way more limited than the other 3.75 inch figures in this line. Alright, so here's a height comparison between a couple of figures, and Chieftain stands about 5.5 inches, and the Elite, same thing, about 5.5, and then the Marine, it's about 3.75, and then Spartan, it's about 4.25, somewhere around there. So yeah, and yeah, so you could definitely get a sense of the height between the human and the Elite and the brute. Alright, so here's that that shield blade or whatever it is that the Elite has that I decided to take off. And here you can see the robot arm is missing that, and again I already told you guys how to take it off. And then in order to put this on, you would have to heat it up with a hair dryer around the grip, the gauntlet section, And then you also have to heat up the Spartan arm to remove the hand first. And then once you did that, then you could slide the gauntlet on. And then yeah, since you heated the gauntlet up, you should be able to slide it up pretty easily because it's softer, so it will expand. And then once you did that, you can put the hand back on, and now the Spartan has a energy shield or sword on his forearm there. I think it looks very cool, so I'm happy I did that. And it didn't really look good on him either, so I decided to take it off. It was impeding the articulation quite a bit, so I decided to take it off and give it to Spartan. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Spartan right here, the blue Spartan. I have two of them. That's why I was willing to modify one of them. And when you first get this out of the box, I mean, his range of motion is pretty limited around the abdominal section. You can see that's about all he could do. Sideways, there's still some, so that's nice. And then head articulation only goes up to about that much, not a whole lot. So, and then I modified this one, so here's what he looks like now. And as far as the head, he could look up a little bit more because I took the piece off of the back side right there. There are 3 sections back here. It's kind of hard to see. There are 3, 1, 2, and 3 back of the helmet, and I basically cut the bottom section off. So now he could look up a bit more than the other guy. Not a whole lot, but a little bit more. Let's see, this one. Yeah, that's about how much more he could look up, so you guys can get an idea. And then as for the torso, you know, I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove this as well. It's just easier to see you guys without all these accessories on them. So here's the original. And here's the modified one. Front it's okay, but archback he can do a little bit more. Let's see. The forward, it's about the same. Arching back, it's a bit more. Just a tad bit more, not a whole lot more. And the way to achieve that, I guess it's not really necessary because it doesn't give you that much more range of motion. But if you want to do it, basically all you have to do is take the chest off first, and then it reviews the abdominal section, and then the abdominal section you would need to cut a section off. I cut a section off the bottom, so it's not that noticeable. So there's a section down here which I use an X-Acto knife and cut it off. Basically all you have to do is heat it up with a hot hair dryer to soften up the plastic, and then you should be able to slice right through it. So I cut a little chunk off, so now he is able to do a little more ab crunch than before, because you're leaving a little more room up on top here, because this figure is pretty close. The chest, the way they cut the chest and the abdominal section, it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room to work with, but now it gives you a little bit more room. You can see there's a little gap there, so it gives you a little more room to work with as far as range of motion. And then as for the legs, this figure, I've noticed that the Spartan actually has a way to extend the leg outward a little bit. Just push it out. You can hear a click on one section. If you don't push it all the way out, you can see if you push it all the way out, this thing will pop right off. But if you push it back in, you could actually, there's 2 clicks to it. If you don't click it all the way, then you'll leave the leg out a little bit. And then what I did was I cut off this section here. I know it's really hard to see, but here on this section here, you can see on the side there's a little piece that's coming down on the waist section right there, and then on this you don't see it anymore because I chopped that off. You could see the poor job I did. But here, what it does is that it allows the leg to move up now. Because right now, because with this leg, if you move it up, you can see it's not giving you clearance right there. It's caught right there. But once you remove that section, oh my God, why is this so? Can I just focus on this? And then once you remove that, then you have full clearance. So now your legs could go up all the way 90 degrees, and then and also helps when you pop the leg off a little bit outward too. So once you pop the leg off outward a little bit, then you could rotate it up quite a bit, and then allow your figure to do a landing pose or a armor lock pose. So with the added range of motion, I could get his waist down a little bit more. Let's see here. And then his head could go up a little bit more. And there you have it. And armor lock pose. Right there. Well, you can lower this back up a little bit. Kind of like that. And on this side, it will look like that. And on the front, it will look like that. And you could look up a little bit. But yeah, at the end of this video, I'll show a couple of photos showing the armor lock pose. So when you first get it out of the box, you won't be able to achieve that pose. But once you did those minor modifications, you will be able to. But I only did it because I have a second one. That's why. Because I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to break this and then I'll be sad. Because I actually like the blue Spartan the most out of all the ones. Even Master Chief. I think I like this one more than the Master Chief. Because I just like how articulated he is, and there's no hindrance with this figure. And I like this look. I like the marks. I like the Noble 6 look. Spartan Mark 5, I think that's the armor. Mark 5, yeah. I like this armor the most. So when it's on the ground, here's what it looks like. The armor lock look. And here's the side view. The back view. And the other side. So there you have it. There's the video for the 3.75-inch figures from Halo by Jazwares. And guys have any questions, welcome to comment down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. And yeah, I like these figures quite a bit. I think they're great. Personally, I think I prefer these more than the 6-inch ones. The 6-inch ones are nice. They're very nice. But it's just the paint job is just not the best. The weathering, it's what got to me. And also the loose joints. They're a little troublesome. But the 3.75-inch ones, they're all good. I haven't had any issues with any of them. I think only one of them was the Marine. One of the Marine got weak ankles. That's about it. But all the rest of them are fine. No issues. Paint job's nice. Even the weathering, they didn't do too much with the weathering, so I'm happy with that. So there you have it, and thanks for watching.